Hi guys, I've just finished filming my cranberry look as promised in my e.l.f. 32-piece Everyday Basics palette review. It's about the only look I'd found I actually liked, and so I said I'd film it for you guys, and so I have. It's actually turned out a little bit more of a cranberry purpley look rather than just a cranberry look, and I used these three colours here, which are purple and cranberry based. Oh sorry, these three colours here. And they were purpley cranberry based, and this one as the highlight in the inner tear duct, this one as the brow bone highlight. They're not named or numbered, so and a tad black to deepen the crease. So I'll talk you through it as I'm doing it in the tutorial, and I do hope you enjoy it. Thanks for watching. Okay, so I'm going to be using my permanent taupe Maybelline Colour Tattoo as both the base and the primer. I think in the US they call this Toughest Taupe, but it's the same colour. Here in the UK we call it permanent taupe, and I'm going to be putting all over, so on the eyelid right up to the brow bone, underneath and in the inner tear duct. I'm putting it on very sheer and a very small amount, so it's not going to affect the colour too much of the shadows, and it's not going to be too much, but I do feel it just works nicely with the colours we're going to use. Okay, so this is, I'm going to call shade number 1 for the sake of the tutorial, and I'm using my Real Techniques Deluxe Crease Brush to apply this to my crease. Now I don't really have a defined crease as such. I mean, you can see all of my moving lid with my mobile lid with my eye open, but I still consider myself to have a hooded eye because I have quite puffy eyes, and so much like you would with a mono lid or a hooded eye, I have to create the crease slightly above that, so you can actually see the work when your eyes are open and you're looking straight forward. So this is the initial application of shade 1 in the crease. You'll notice that I'm going to be reapplying a few times, which you unfortunately have to do with this palette. This I'm going to call shade 2. Now this is more of a purpley shade rather than the cranberry, and I'm going to be just patting that on and sort of trying to pack it on as much as possible with my e.l.f. eyeshadow brush. This is a really inexpensive brush that I get on with really well, and I'm just taking that right up to meet the shade 1. And here all I'm doing is just taking a little bit more of shade 1 and blending the two shades together. Now with the original shade 1, I'm going to pop that under the eye to try and tie the look together. I don't like to apply too much under my eye because it does tend to draw my eyes down a bit with the shape of them. But here I'm just connecting that up at the side and putting shade 1 underneath. For the sake of the tutorial, this one's just a black, but I'm going to be mixing that with a third shade, which we'll call shade 3, which in the palette is in between the shades I've used that we're calling shade 1 and shade 2. So shade 3 and the black, I'm just putting in the outer V to give my eye a bit more definition and dimension, and I'm using my Real Techniques accent brush for that. Now I always keep a cloth with me at all times so that I can wipe off any excess for any blending that I'm going to do, so I don't have to use too many brushes. Oh, blocked you out. And here I'm just blending the look together. Now you don't want to blend too much, or really keep blending right to the minimum with these shadows, because they do tend to turn into a muddy mess. And I'm just touching up some black on the other side because I realised that I'd actually made one side slightly darker than the other. Now shortly after I filmed this, my packaging for this palette actually broke, which makes me dislike it even more. So this colour in the corner is a white, but it's to me it's got slightly bluish undertones to it. Oh, funny face. And I'm using my e.l.f. smudge brush just to place that in the inner tear duct, and then next to it I'm going to be using my brow bone highlight. Now I don't really like to use much of a brow bone highlight with my shaped eye. I just don't think it really is very flattering, but luckily this shade is quite useless, and so it works fine for that. Sometimes I even just use a face powder for that part. Okay, so I'm going back into the shade we've got for shade, as we're calling shade 2, and just repacking that on. So I'm trying to layer the colour as much as possible. That way it will be fairly long standing, and also because the shades you have to with this palette. And then there I am going in with shade 2 and just blending out shade 1 underneath the eye, and for that I'm just going to be using my Real Techniques base shadow brush. Just cleaning off any excess underneath. I'm using the e.l.f. complexion brush for this, but any brush would be fine, and then applying some highlighting concealer. Now this one is from Gosh, which is a brand that you can find at Superdrug, but mine's quite old, so really it's not fair to see its performance in this video and judge it on that. It was better when I originally bought it. I should probably throw it away, but I'm just trying to get the last bit of use out of it, and dabbing that underneath with my finger and sort of trying to pat that in. I also have an e.l.f. liquid eyeliner. Now I'm showing you the end bristles here to sort of show you that is literally how it came. So it's really hard to apply it because the brush is distorted, and I'm not particularly good at applying liquid eyeliner anyway. I only apply it to the outer 2/3 of my eye and leave the inner third free, because I feel like it closes my eye off a bit too much. If not, and I don't do a wing either, because it just disappears into my sort of eye puffiness and it doesn't look flattering. And here we're going in with my favourite go-to mascara, which is Rimmel RetroGlam Eyes. And I like to rotate the brush slightly at the roots to really get as much lift as possible, and then wiggle it about at the ends. And I don't usually put mascara on my bottom eyelashes, but I am doing this look because I feel like it does work. And I'm just using my Rimmel Stay Matte powder to set the concealer. Now this is an e.l.f. cream blush that I didn't purchase, but I got free with an order, and I think the cranberry sort of autumnal colour of it goes really well with this look. But I wouldn't say it was particularly natural, and I wouldn't say it particularly blended very nicely. It's not any like a cream blush that I've ever tried before. It's more like a moussey consistency. I imagine it's very similar to the mousse foundation, the mousse blushes that you can get from the Maybelline line, though I've only swatched them in the testers. And I'm just blending this out with my complexion brush to try and get a more natural finish with it. Okay, now I'm using my Rimmel Scandel Eyes nude eyeliner in the waterline. Now because I'm so fair, I actually feel like more often than not a white eyeliner still works for me in the waterline, but I jumped on this sort of nude eyeliner bandwagon from recently, and for some looks like this one I do think it works better. And I'm just applying a second coat of mascara here. You can probably not get away with 3 coats with this mascara. I think 2 would probably be your limit with it because it is quite a thick formula. Now this is my Beauty UK lipstick in Snob. When I got these, I think there were 2 for £5, so very good. And my Rimmel lip gloss. Now I'm not sure if they even do this lip gloss anymore because it's again quite old. Now this lipstick's a matte lipstick. And it's got a really minty, lovely feeling to it. So I'm just applying that. But I'm not a big fan of matte lipsticks, and I didn't actually realise it was matte when I purchased it, so I'm going to go over the top with a gloss. I've been loving this lip combo recently because I feel like it's a very wearable way of doing the Radiant Orchid trend. That Snob lipstick has a real sort of lilac-y purpley undertone to it, and this is about as Radiant Orchid as I would get during the day. So this is the overall effect. I did this tutorial just to show that you sort of can get something out of this e.l.f. palette. I really wouldn't recommend anyone buying it, but if you already own it, then maybe this will give you some ideas of ways to make it work. The bottom 2 rows are completely useless, and I might throw it away now that the packaging's broken randomly. So thanks for watching. Take care. Bye. Bye!